How do you watch a live video on YouTube? This is my first time trying to upload a video on YouTube live, and I'm really not sure how this works. If any one of you are online, just be there for a moment. I will just check on my laptop to see if anything is correct or how does it. Yeah, so I can see myself live. So just give me a thumbs up or anything to see, or you drop a comment, say hi or anything, so that I know my voice is clear and everything is perfect. So I have my laptop here because I don't have an extra phone at the moment. So just starting trouble, we will be yeah, so many highs. So finally I figured out where to look at for the comments. This is the laptop is here so that if you guys have any questions or anything, I can just look at the comment section and talk to you guys through the phone. So I'm connected to my phone, which is of course from where I'm talking to. Yeah, so I can see few of you guys online, and you guys have also mentioned hi, which means I think I am audible and stuff and everything. So everything is going well. So we are on a live session today, and we are going to talk about sourdough starter. It's a very basic and simple recipe. All you need is 30 grams of flour and 30 grams of water. That's it. You don't need anything else. But before we actually get into the process of making the culture or the starter, I just want to talk a few lines about what is sourdough starter. So for those of you who don't know, basically sourdough starter is like a wild yeast. What we are doing is we are cultivating our own yeast here naturally, so no chemical agents or nothing. And that is the reason why sourdough breads are considered healthier than the commercially made ones, because everything is natural, and so the digestion process takes place easily when you make a bread out of the starter, and that is why this is so popular. So that is sourdough starter, and for which we would need flour. Basically any type of flour, that is whole wheat, maida or bread flour. Anything will work. Absolutely fine. You don't need any particular brand or anything. Yes, organic flour is anytime better than the bleached one, because naturally, since they are organic, it has lot more nutrients and vitamins and fiber, sugar, everything present in a lot more quantity as compared to the normal bleached flour. So yeah, that's the reason the yeast can feed on all of those things and would be more active, and also would give a better result in terms of flavor and texture. So if you could lay your hands on organic flour, go for it, it's the best. But if you can't, you can use any flour for that matter. Again, whole wheat flour will be better. That is because whole wheat flour has all the three parts, that is endosperm, germ and bran. So एक part say the yeast gets one thing. I have written down so that I don't forget it. So yeah, bran is rich in fiber. एंडोस्पर्म से उसको स्टार्च, कार्ब्स एंड प्रोटीन्स मिलता है, और जर्म से उसको विटामिन्स और हेल्दी फैट्स मिलता है. So everything is you get from whole wheat flour, and hence for sourdough whole wheat flour is preferred. That being said, whole wheat flour का nature तो you guys already know. It yields a denser and एकदम compact texture वाला bread, and that is why so many of you guys prefer all-purpose flour over whole wheat. So that's the only difference, क्योंकि all-purpose flour, as you know, is milled more, तो उसमें bran और germ part नहीं होता है. It just has the endosperm, so you just get the starch and carbohydrates. So when you bake with that bread and with that all-purpose flour, bread एकदम fluffy, soft और खिला more open crumbs, and एकदम अच्छा light texture वाला bread you get. That's the difference. Again, all-purpose flour से work करना is easier. It is easy to shape the sourdough bread, and hence that flour is preferred as a beginner. So today I am using all-purpose flour, and I would recommend you guys to as well start with the all-purpose flour, that is maida or plain flour. But if not, you can also use whole wheat flour. When we first made the sourdough culture in 2020, तब I had shared with all the three flours. यानी I had made the starter with whole wheat, bread flour, and all-purpose. So I will have the details link on YouTube and blog post as well. Once the session ends, I'll put everything in the description box for you guys to check out it. Talking about water, water एकदम room temperature चाहिए. We do not want hot or cold water. Cold water maybe it would take a lot of time for the yeast to develop. But अगर hot water है तो it will definitely kill the yeast. So you do not want to use hot water. If you want to be very specific about the temperature, 70 to 80 degree का Fahrenheit temperature would be perfect for the water. But this is just room temperature RO mineral water that I am using today. You should not use chlorinated water. So that's all about the ingredients. So flour में use all-purpose flour if you are a beginner. You can use whole wheat flour, but if you are a beginner, I would recommend go for all-purpose. And about water, you have to use room temperature and it should not be chlorinated. So these are the only two things you need to take care about the ingredients list. So any doubt or questions about the ingredients so far? Just taking a moment to look into the comment section to see if you guys have any questions regarding the same. Hope my speed is not too fast and you are able to grasp something out of it. So yes, just let me know. Teaspoon water. Okay, so when it comes to sourdough starter, do not go by cups, tablespoons or any of that kind of metric. You have to use a measuring scale. So I recently ordered this from Amazon specifically for sourdough starter, actually Active Extra. It's really nice. Just go with grams. So the ratio is 1:1. That is 1 part of water, 1 part of flour. It can be 10 grams of water, 10 grams of flour, 100 grams of water, 100 grams of flour. The ratio could be anything but 1:1. That is because we always need a starter that is at 100% hydration. So what is hydration? Hydration is basically the water content in the starter or the bread dough that we are making. So it should always be 100% and hence equal amounts of water and flour is necessary, which you will get only when you measure in terms of grams. You cannot use cups, tablespoon measurement for making sourdough starter and eventually sourdough bread. So quantity of flour and water, I am using 30 grams of flour and 30 grams of water today because since we are just starting out, we don't want to waste the resources and we need to be mindful of it. So jitna kam, utna acha hai. When I did it in 2020, we started with 50 grams of water and 50 grams of flour. And I'm reducing it even more just to be mindful about the resources because till the first 7 days, we will literally be throwing off half the quantity from the starter. So we will be throwing out half and adding more. Iske liye just to be mindful about the resources, we are going with a little less quantity this time. 30 grams of flour and 30 grams of water. So as a specific hard and fast rule nahi hai, you can always go for from 5 grams also as I said or even 10 grams. So it's fine. So for today this is 30 grams of flour and 30 grams of water. Kavita says tap water, so it's not tap water. You use drinking water. This is RO water directly from Aqua Garden. Any more questions regarding the ingredients? Okay, one more thing that I wanted to talk about before we get into the process is the science behind the sourdough starter. यानी exactly होता क्या है when you mix these two. So when you mix the both and leave it to ferment for 24 hours, so we feed it on next day. So today is day 1. We will be feeding it tomorrow once again. So what happens in this 24 hours period is that the yeast जो और bacteria है surrounding से, it feeds on the flour से उसको मिलती है sugar, carbs and everything, mainly sugar. So what happens when yeast feeds on all this food source? Of course it will pass gas. So the gas is eventually alcohol and carbon dioxide. So जो alcohol produce होता है, that's how you get a strong unpleasant smell in the initial days, and as the alcohol matures you get a more fruity kind of taste. So imagine wine. So as a taste मिलेगा, initially you will get that nail polish kind of alcohol वाला taste. Smell, sorry, not taste. So yes, when this yeast feeds on the food source that is maida, it will it obviously has to pass its gas, ना? तो gas pass करेगा carbon dioxide और alcohol के form में. So alcohol से you get that unpleasant and pleasant smell as it matures. What happens to the gas? Now this gas is what will bring the rise in bread when you bake it, or the starter as in our case today. So what happens? This gas, it needs some space. ऐसे ही तो नहीं जाएगा ना हवा में, तो फिर it will evaporate, but it needs some space to sit and rise. So how is this space created? This space is created by the gluten, which is protein, जो कैसे form होता है when water and flour are mixed. So water and flour mixes, and if you can see these strands that are forming, gaps दिख रहे हैं whole fingers में, तो ये gaps के बीच में the gas, that is carbon dioxide, sits and it flux as it rises. So this is basically the science, and that is the importance of each and every ingredient. यानी पानी और मैदा से gluten strands बनता है, हवा यानी environment से जो yeast होता है, it feeds on the flour, produces carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide sits between the strands and rises. This is also what happens when you bake a bread, and this is also what happens when you are making the sourdough starter. So this is also similar to our idli dosa ka batter, which our ancestors are doing from so long. So I feel that in historic or olden days, even the Britishers or English people also used to bake bread the similar way, right? How will they get come before the birth of commercial yeast? This is how the bread was made, and hence ये तो known fact है कि when things are passed down from ancient, so it is actually good for our body. And this is the science जिसकी वजह से easily digest भी हो जाता है अपने body में this kind of bread. And yeah, so this is the science behind how yeast is produced and what is its role, and what is the role of water and flour also. So this was the science behind how a sourdough bread rises, या फिर how a sourdough starter rises. So far we have discussed about the ingredients, what type of flour, what type of water to be used, and we have also talked about the science behind sourdough starter. So any doubts so far? I'll just look, there are a few comments that's popped up, so I'll just look and answer. So Kritika says Punjab weather is cold at the moment, so will it make any difference? Yes. Once you mix the starter, keep your starter in a place where it is warm. When I was in New Zealand, which was far more colder than India, so what I did was I switched on my oven to the lowest speed, like 10-15 minutes छोड़ दिया, and then switched it off and then put my sourdough into that. So that should work in your case, and I believe if it is not too cold, even inside your cupboard or anything where you think it would be warm, just put it there. If you bake or if you make idli dosa batter at home, where do you keep it to ferment? Just keep your starter there and it should be fine. इतना problem नहीं होना चाहिए. Kavita said 30 grams. Do you weigh water? Yes, we weigh water as well. So जैसे हम flour weigh करते हैं, your water will be weighed in the same way. Press stir and just add 30. So 30 grams. Weighing water in grams is absolutely fine. Hello. LSC is awaiting your explanation. So explanation on what exactly? If we take quantity in cup size, it may differ the weight. So what do you advise? No, I am assuming that you joined late, Sonali. So as I mentioned earlier, we cannot do the sourdough starter in cups or tablespoons. You just have to weigh it. No other option. So 30 grams flour and 30 grams water is a must. Okay. So for today, all you have to know is this much. So tomorrow we will be, and one more thing. If you choose a time, say suppose that I am weighing at 11:30, then I think by the time I mix this in a glass jar, it would be 11:30. So tomorrow exactly at 11:30, I have to feed my starter once again. So choose a time that is convenient for you if you are going to make it along with me. So if you are going to make it and say suppose you choose 12 o'clock, then make sure that you are available at 12 noon for the next 15 days. So lock in a time period that is suitable for you, because every single day you have to feed at that exact time. So think of it like your pet or child, because they tend to become hungry the time that you feed them daily. So that's the same way for your sourdough starter. So by the time we mix everything, I think it will be 11:30 or 11:20 or whatever. So tomorrow exactly at 11:20 I'll be doing my second feed, which we will continue for 15 days. A sourdough starter takes a minimum of 15 days to mature. Only after that it is recommended to bake using the sourdough starter. So make sure that you are available at one particular time for the next 15 days and then make your starter. Neelam, I am not an expert in baking or using the gas stove as of now, and even though I have myself baked ladi pav once in cooker, it turns out good, but today's topic is not related to that. You can bake. So if you have queries regarding sourdough or anything related to sourdough, I'll be more than happy to answer today. About your other bread queries, I already have a YouTube video on answering your bread baking queries, or other than that you can ping me anytime on Instagram to get an answer. So today let's just stick to the topic so that it doesn't go out of the topic. To answer your question, yes, you can bake. I have done it myself, but I prefer the oven. Okay, so for today, as I was saying, हम बस starter बना रहे हैं for the next 15 days. 7th day is again an important day, so I might come live on the 7th day to show you guys what happens during the week. And if not, from tomorrow onwards up to 7th day, or exactly at 11:30 or before 12, I'll be sharing how to discard your starter and how to add fresh content into it on our Instagram. So again, I'll leave all the links in the description box. You can follow us there. I might also put up a post on community just to let you guys know that I have fed my starter. So it would be better if you could join on Instagram, because every single day it's going to be the same process. So there is nothing new to be shown, and hence I don't think coming live just for that 5 minutes would make sense. I think Instagram would be easier, and it would be easier for you guys to ask me questions as well, because story pe you can directly reply or you can directly DM. So from tomorrow to 7th day, I'll share the process on Instagram. It's going to be the same every single day. So Kavita says, what more ingredients we need if we want to make with you? For the 15 days, you don't need anything. For the first day, you need 30 grams of flour and 30 grams of water. And from 2nd to 15th day, you would need 15 grams of water and 15 grams of flour. That's it. And stick to the one flour that you will be using on first day. Like I am using all-purpose flour maida today. So for the next 15 days, I'll be feeding my starter exactly the same thing, nothing else. After 15 days, when the starter gets matured, we will be baking sandwich loaf from using the starter. So the recipe is already shared on the YouTube video. I'll leave the link for that. You can go through it and gather the ingredients if you wish to bake the bread with me. And if not, you can always join to just watch how you make the bread in a live session. So you would need just water and flour. Nita says, what do you mean by feeding the starter? So first day when you make the starter, the yeast will feed on the sugar from the sugar, starch, carbohydrates, everything from the flour. So what will happen after 24 days? Khatam ho jayegi na sari sugar. So what will the yeast feed on? It won't have anything to feed. So what we do is, we take out 15 grams from the starter, discard it because it is not edible at this stage. So we discard it, and then we add fresh 15 grams of flour and 15 grams of water. So the addition of this fresh flour and water is meant feeding the starter. So now the aaj ka yeast will have new flour tomorrow to feed on. So this process is called feeding the starter. Every day we have to take some portion out of it and feed fresh flour so that the yeast has sugars and carbs to feed on and continue growing. If we don't feed it, eventually the yeast won't have anything to eat and it will die. That's why it is necessary to feed the starter till 15 days. After that, you can feed it once in 2 weeks for a month, and then you can also put it into the refrigerator and forget feeding for months together. So 2 महीने में एक बार भी feed करेंगे तो it will be enough. So that we will talk on 15th day. Then we will end the session on how to store your sourdough starter for lifetime. But till 15 days you will have to feed the starter every single day. Yes, Kavita, every day we will feed 15 grams of water and 15 grams of water to the culture. Pleasure, Akansha. I would also love to make more bread recipes. We already have a playlist on the channel though. You can refer that for more. So, any more questions? Yeah, please explain what kind of jar and importance of cleanliness. So preferably a glass jar. Do not use plastic, stainless steel, metal or anything. Only glass jar and as clean as possible. क्योंकि थोड़ा भी contamination आएगा ना, तो you will get a yellow or pink strain of yeast development, which is contamination, and you want to avoid that at any cost. So this is a clean. Just wash it with normal soap water, rinse it well, allow it to dry completely and use it. Any glass jar will work. Yes, Shabuna, definitely I'll be sharing the feeding process tomorrow on Instagram. Just that it won't be a live session like this what we are doing today, because we'll be doing the exact same thing that we are doing today, so it doesn't make sense. Also, you can also watch our blog post or YouTube video that I had shared in 2020 for more details if you like. Starter and culture is the same thing, yes. Do we need to discard? Sonali, yes, we will. Today we will be making 30-30, so total इसके अंदर 60 grams रहेगा अभी. So we will take out 30 grams from this, discard it, and 15-15. So or at any given point of time your jar should have 60 grams of starter culture in it. So that's the goal, which is 1:1 hydration. मतलब 1:1 ratio होता है जिसे हम 100% hydration बोलते हैं. So all these terms again I have explained. I have written a 15-page blog post actually. So when you guys are free, you can read it on a desktop. Mobile में थोड़ा it's difficult to grasp everything, but all the sourdough starter terms, commonly asked questions, and बहुत कुछ. Literally you can understand. It's a 12-page blog post. So if you guys are interested, you can read it. So yes, Sonali will be discarding 30 grams from this and adding new 30 grams every day till 15 days. In case any day if we can't feed on time, is it okay to feed early or later? Sarah, as much as you can, please stick to this timing just for the first 15 days. मतलब 30 minutes आगे पीछे is fine, but if you cannot commit to feeding the starter on the same day for 15 days, then I would say start it at a later stage when you know you will be available to feed the starter. But yes, feeding on time is important for the culture, or else after third or fourth day it may happen that your yeast is growing. So from a baby it becomes a toddler, and as they become a toddler it would need more food. So you will develop a brown line which is called hooch in sourdough terms. So this means that the starter needs more sugar and more starch to feed on. So in that case you will have to switch to feeding twice a day. So that means that depends if your starter develops hooch or not. If it develops, you will have to start feeding twice a day. So commit yourself to 15 days of feeding. बस 15 दिन की बात है. Once you feed it properly for the first 15 days, after that it will last for a lifetime. So that first 15 days is crucial. Tejashri, it is a total of 30 grams which we will talk tomorrow. So just to avoid confusion, आज के लिए बस इतना याद रखो 30 और 30. How much to discard, when to discard, everything I'll talk tomorrow so that you guys don't get confused. So basically you will discard 30 grams. So yes, if weather is cold, like I mentioned, I think you guys joined late. So like I mentioned, I'll just repeat it one more last time. If the weather is cold, switch on your oven to the lowest temperature for 15 to 20 minutes, then switch it off and then place your starter in there. and forget it, or you can also place it inside a cupboard or any place in your home where you feel the weather is, where it is warm enough for the sourdough to feed and grow. And trust me, I have done it in the peak season in New Zealand. So I think April or May we had done it, which was the peak winters there, and even then I had got amazing results. So bacteria or yeast तो हमेशा ही होगा ही, तो just look for a warm place and it should be fine. So now this topic is how to start baking business. So this is not something that we are discussing today. Maybe I'll conduct another session for the same. Sorry. Just I don't want to waste you guys your time as well as mine. So, and also just to avoid confusion, let's stick to sourdough today. So if you have any other queries, just go ahead and ask me regarding sourdough. If not, let's just combine it and proceed further. So what do you guys say? Let me know. So just looking into comment section to see if anything else is popping up. So I don't see any more questions popping up. So let me just show you guys. We can proceed. Sure, thank you. So basically, here's I have already weighed out. So hence I'm directly. Oh yeah, one more thing. अच्छा हुआ याद आया. Just remember to weigh your glass jar. So mine is 141 grams and note it down in a book. I just forgot to get my pen, but I watched the video later and write it down. So glass jar का weight इसलिए important है because tomorrow it will have culture in it. So minus करना easy होगा. इसके लिए all remember to weigh your glass jar. So this is 141 grams. To that I am adding in the flour. I have already weighed this. So 30 grams flour डाल दिया है and I am adding 30 grams water. And now just mix it until no bits of dry flour is there. It might look thick at the moment. Don't be tempted to add more flour क्योंकि फिर ratio गड़बड़ी हो जाएगा. You want the ratio to be 1:1 and 100% hydration. A sourdough starter, if kept at 100% hydration, becomes easier to make the bread recipe. तो sourdough का कैसे होता है कि bread recipe is calculated on the basis of hydration. So what is hydration and everything else already has been explained on the blog post. But 15th day पे या when we are ready to make the sourdough bread, I'll explain it once again in a live session. अभी बता दूंगी तो it will be very much confusing. So until no bits of dry flour is left, मतलब दिखना ही नहीं चाहिए dry flour. So I'll just grab another spoon to take this all away. हाथ से नहीं करना है. Even though I have washed my hands, I don't want to contaminate it further. So I'll just get a clean spoon. Just bear with me. Sorry about the break. So, if you are doing it at your home, तो go ahead और हाथ से कर लो, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. But since I'm doing it in a live session today, and just to be take all the safety measures, I'm using another spoon. So yeah. So you know you can see that it would be quite thick today, but जैसे जैसे ये feed होगा ना, मैं इसका photo, I'll just share a photo or upload a photo pic later on so that you guys can see how it looks. But it is quite thick at the moment, but as the yeast starts feeding on the flour, in day 2 and 3 you will notice that it is getting more liquidy and more flowy and would be easy to manage. Another thing, ऐसे ही lid रखना ताकि there is no dust or anything going in. Don't fit it tightly, मतलब air tight नहीं करना है. If you make it air tight, then of course yeast won't get that. Yeast जाएगा ही नहीं ना अंदर हवा से bacteria और yeast. So इसलिए just close it ऐसे ऊपर से. You can also place an aluminium foil or plastic wrap, but not tightly. loosely with any lid, just so that there is no dust going in. बस बाकी कुछ नहीं. हो गया, इतना ही है. So that's it. Just mix your flour and water, and congratulations, you have just started a sourdough starter. People usually name the sourdough starter as well. I had named Pebbles, the previous one. It becomes easier to say because this what we have made today in this glass jar is called mother culture or mother starter. So हर बार mother starter बोलने से अच्छा है, people tend to name it so that it becomes more personal to them. Every day we will discard 30 grams from this mother starter and add new. Or whenever you are making any bread recipes, you will come across this. Take 100 grams from your mother starter, so that means इसमें से 100 grams लेना है. तो कैसे 100 grams करना है, how to build up your starter and everything, I'll talk before going for baking the bread recipe. तभी ही important है और याद भी रहेगा. If we talk now, it will just become confusing. So आज के लिए we have learned what are the ingredients needed to make the sourdough starter, and I also talked about the science, मतलब कैसे alcohol और yeast अल्कोहल और कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड जनरेट होता है, कैसे ब्रेड राइस होता है. सो वी हैव डिस्कस्ड दैट एंड वी हैव आल्सो सीन हाउ टू मेक द स्टार्टर, एंड आई आल्सो डिस्कस्ड अबाउट डिस्कार्डिंग एंड फीडिंग, व्हिच वी विल डू इट इन एक्शन टुमारो. So yes, that's all about sourdough starter for day 1. There are lot more things in sourdough which we will discuss eventually as and when we go for baking the bread, यानी 15 days के बाद. So I'm just looking at the comments or questions if there are any. If once we have ready the sourdough, can we use it once or again we have to make it big? No. You will always have some amount of mother culture at any point of time. मतलब lifelong this will last. So whenever you are baking the bread, you actually build the mother culture to whatever your bread recipe calls for. So that is what I said. अगर आज ही बात करेंगे तो सर के ऊपर से जाएगा. It will be more confusing because since we are just starting out today, I'll talk to you guys or I will share how to build up the mother culture. So आज इसमें 60 grams है. अगर bread recipe में तुम्हें 100 grams चाहिए, so we will be making this 160 grams. So 100 grams निकालने के बाद भी there will be 16 grams left out in this, which is called mother culture or mother starter. So at any given point of time, you will always have some amount of starter left in your glass jar. And अगर वो खत्म कर दोगे by chance if you miscalculate or finish it off, then only you will have to again restart. But ऐसा नहीं होता है, because any bread you make, they will clearly mention how much to build it up. So you will always have some. Don't worry about that. Yes, Kavita, after 15 days, so Kavita asks, will we be having a session later to bake the bread using this culture? Yes, definitely. After 15 days, we will be making a sourdough bread loaf together. तो sourdough में कैसा होता है कि there is a lot of time gap. यानी मतलब once we mix the bread dough, we have to allow it to rise multiple number of times. So I'm not sure how live will be possible then, but definitely we can do it together on Instagram, or we will work it out after 15 days about how to conduct the bread session. But yes, using this same culture, we will be baking a bread once it matures. मतलब after 15 days also you will find that the bread is बहुत सार, खट्टा है bread एकदम, because the culture इतना mature नहीं हुआ है. But as you go on feeding and maturing, after 1 month, after 2 months, in fact, the more it matures, the more flavorful your bread becomes. So, if for someone who has a mother culture, say from past 1 year or past 2 years, their bread would be so much more flavorful than what you make in 15 days. So, it's like wine. जितना पुराना wine, उतना अच्छा taste. So, the same is with mother culture, with sourdough starter. जितना पुराना starter, उतना अच्छा your bread will turn out. This is 60 grams of sourdough starter. So Sara asks how much sourdough we will get. So this is 60 grams. Akansha share how to convert yeast to sourdough. So it doesn't work like that. I have read blogs and mentioned in my blog as well that People say in a bread recipe 1 gram of yeast is equal to 8 grams of starter or something. I don't remember the exact calculation, but I have mentioned it in my blog post. But unfortunately it doesn't work out like that. Both are two different recipes. To convert a yeast recipe into sourdough recipe is not possible. But what is possible is creating your own recipe using the sourdough starter, which I'll share how to do after 15 days. When we talk about hydration, on that day I'll discuss how you can create your own recipe from the sourdough starter. Anybody can, literally how many of you are watching today? 25, 26. So all of you can create your own bread recipe using this starter. So I will discuss that on 15 दिन के बाद when we bake the bread. Thank you, Shaguna. I'm glad to see that you are finding it useful. Oh wow, Deepthi, that's amazing. You have made it along with me. Awesome. Okay, so I think that's all about it for today. Let me know if you have any more doubts because करने के लिए कुछ नहीं है. Honestly, we have made the culture. बस इतना ही है, 5 मिनट का काम है. And every day you just need this 5 minutes of time. अभी इसमें से tomorrow we will discard 30 grams and we will add 30 grams. बस उतना ही है. This is what we have to do for 15 days. So yeah, give allowed 5 minutes every day for 15 days and you should be fine. You will have a starter for lifelong. Kushal, yes, it will be there on YouTube forever. But please join us on Instagram if you would like to know how to discard and how to add. So Sonali says thank you. Pleasure is all mine. Sonali, thank you. Okay, so if there aren't any more questions, shall we end the live? Once this live session ends, in the description box I will add the link to blog post as well as the YouTube video. If you can go through the blog post using a desktop or an iPad, on a phone screen it would be difficult because it's a 12-page blog post and just take some time to go through it. Everything is explained, literally everything. And also I have added क्या बोलते हैं उसको, diagrams or explanation in form of pictorial infographic. So I have added lot of infographics to explain how to feed your starter, what is discarding, and also the science behind making the sourdough bread is also explained in the form of an infographic. So visually also you can learn. Akansha asks, discarding sourdough, can we use it in normal chapati dough? For the first 7 days you cannot, because for the first 7 days it is not edible. Ekdam, you get that strong nail polish or dirty socks kind of taste and smell, which is not advisable. So after 7 days you can add it to your chapati dough, or you can make wafer chips. On our Instagram I have shared 2020 mein we had made jalebi. It's a one-step jalebi recipe using the discard starter, and also chips. So you can find all those on the Instagram highlights. So Rutvi says, yes, after 7 days your starter actually start. Okay, first I'll tell the question and then I'll answer. So Rutvi says, hello ma'am, I heard that 7 days is enough for starter. Is it true? Yes, from 7th day you will see super growth in this. I mean, literally it will double up, it will bubble and everything. But it is not advisable to use the starter on 7th day. Though there is no hard and fast rule, you can use it, but 15 days is when it gets matured little bit. On 7th day, the bread will be super sour and you won't like the taste of it, and then you will feel that yaar kya bakwas bana hai, kya time waste kiya hai. So you don't want that. The more the starter matures, the more flavorful your dough will be. On 7th day, you cannot make that boule, boule, I hope you guys know what it is. जो ऐसे वाला bread होता है, you cannot make that on 7th day, but you can make it after 15 or 20 days. Think of it like a wine, like I said. With age, wine matures and tastes better. Same as with sourdough starter. So the more you allow it to mature, the better your bread flavor would be, and texture and open crumbs will also be there. So you will feel, arey wah kya bana hai? You will feel like you have achieved something when you bake after a certain period of time. 7 days, yes, you can bake, but it will be sour. So you might or might not like the taste, depends on individual. Sonali asks, can we use the same jar or need to be used bigger jar as starter rises? So since we are using just small quantity, this size should be fine according to me. But the bigger the jar, the nicer it will be, so that you can see the rising. I didn't have any other jar handy at the moment, so that's why I went with this. So if you will see in our 2020 wala or blog post wala sourdough starter, I have baked in a vertical jar. So उसमें rising भी अच्छे से दिखता है. इसमें rising कितना दिखेगा I also don't know, but vertical jars are preferred, and you should have enough space for the starter to rise. So use such jars. This wider I am assuming should be fine क्योंकि कम quantity है इसके लिए, but अगर ज़्यादा है तो this won't work. So any more questions, guys? So since there are no more questions, let's just end this live, and I'll see you tomorrow on Instagram at same time, यानी around 11:25, 11 o'clock नहीं, around 11:25 we will discard some of it and add new. So any more doubts or queries? Just taking 2 more minutes to look through the comment section. Okay, so thank you so much guys for taking the time out to come and join this live session, and I hope you got something out of it, and I'll also hope you guys to see you guys tomorrow on the Instagram handle. So let's just end the session for now. Thank you so much for tuning in. Just looking for the comments from you guys if there are any, and if not, we will see you tomorrow at 11:25 on our Instagram handle. Bye bye. Pleasure is all mine, Netra. Thank you. Don't forget to check the links once this live session is ended on the description box to go there. Okay, bye guys. My camera is on the other side, so I'm just moving out of the screen now to cancel the end the live session from there. Bye. Also, I'll just keep it somewhere here.